In this video, I'm going to do 15 Gyoubu fights with live commentary. After the fight, I'll do a breakdown of any potentially interesting bits. Before watching the video, I highly recommend watching Ponet's Phase 1 tutorial to get a baseline idea of what to do during the fight. Note, I am using auto target off, which is a setting that affects how you attack strafe. If you use auto target on, you're going to have to do some interpretation. Personally, I would recommend auto target off if you aren't sure which setting to choose. Right, okay. Let's begin. Of course, this item pickup, you cannot pick up if you start screaming his name before you get to it. Then I hit him 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Have to do the block hit in order to hit in the 7. I'm trying to be behind him here. But now I kind of went into some weird RNG. Okay. Okay, this is very weird. Okay, I'm back. I'm taking the death blow in this direction. And then I'm running over a bit. I'm turning a little bit to make sure to kind of lead him in the right direction. Then 2 hits to go behind him. And hit him once. Try to get him over in the right direction here. I haven't done a lot of hits, so... Oh, okay, he staggers. He AI breaks. That's kind of funny. Alright, that works. So there at the end, I kind of did some kind of specific strafing, although not that specific. But instead of just being locked onto him and hitting him straight on, I was kind of like following along so that I made sure that I could fit in all the hits. If you just lock onto him and hit him straight up, then sometimes you'll miss out on a hit. Actually, a lot of time. Almost, I think actually every time you'll miss out on a hit and sometimes miss out on 2 hits. Alright, now to the analysis. On the first fight here, as you can see, or as you can't see because I'm in his face, I was facing the wrong way during the opener. What you want to do is you want to be... Gyoubu is gonna decide where he runs to very early on. Essentially, as soon as now, you can see he has decided to go on his hind legs, and at this point, he's gonna run the way that he's facing. He will run out this way. Now, if I'd been slightly more over here, at this point, slightly more over to the right and forward, then he would not have decided to go this way. As you can see, I'm like getting stuck on him. And if I had attacked once there, then once out to this side, or even had the first attack be more to the right, then he would have ran more out and open. You don't have to exactly understand everything I'm saying here. All you have to keep in mind is to make sure that you have the start of the fight down, to make sure that he runs into the middle out here in the open. And as you can see, I have a ton of problems because I do this wrong. So here, this deflect was very hard to hit. Let's go over that again. I immediately start running after him no matter what he does. But here, because he starts his swing like this, by hitting in an X sort of, this is what we call the kayak attack, because it looks like he's like kayaking. When I see that he's doing this, I know that I'm gonna want to deflect when he does the second. That happens very quickly. And I've practiced it a lot, of course. So you probably won't have it as clean, but I want you to try. So not on the first one, but on the second one. And if you don't get it on the second one, then you want to try for the 4th one. Because the 2nd and the 4th are going to be the ones that are on his right side, and the 1st and the 3rd are going to be on his left side. When you get the deflect, you want to attack twice behind him. If you aren't super fast and good and experienced with the fight, then you probably won't be able to react in time to the death blow, or sorry, to the deflect, to be able to get both. In that case, just do one and try your best to get behind him. Here I couldn't because again I got him in a bad place. This attack you will not get if you are fully behind him. And you won't get this whole interaction you won't get if you did it right. This whole combo series here will only happen if you are in front of him after stopping him. Here I'm going behind because he can kick here. And whenever you deflect a kick, you can always hit him once. But it's very recommended to try and buffer that attack as best as possible. So you do the deflect and then immediately after you have pressed deflect and it like goes through, then you want to buffer your attack. Do not spam, but you need to practice timing it so it gets buffered. If you spam, then the game thinks that you're charging an attack and it will delay your standard attack. And it will come out later. Here he misses. If he ever misses you, then you know that you're gonna be in kind of a bad spot, so you want to start going a little bit back. In this case, I would probably want to do A and S. Which I do kind of do here. I do A, but you probably wanted to go a little bit more back. I guess I squeezed in an attack as well. Here I attack. So this is something you could do as well. This attack has the worst hitbox of all time. You need to go backwards to be able to deflect this, because this can come in behind you and go past your guard. This is what some people like to refer as being dead angled. And technically you are kind of being dead angled in a way. Or technically you aren't, but in some way you are. Whenever he's from an idle position, which is what he is here, he can like to run away. And that's why I hit him only once, and I know at this point he's gonna try and run away. So I dash back, and then dash back again. And I get the stagger. Now, the fight is normal. And I think that was all we needed to look at for that. Hopefully the next fight will be a little bit more normal. As before. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block hit to get the 7. Then run after him and try and get behind him. Deflect this, then do 3 hits and strafe to the middle of him. Then double dash back. He got blocked by the thing, that's kind of weird. He's low enough where I can stagger him and finish him off. Strafe around so that I'm deathblowing him in the right direction. Then we're gonna run forward a little bit. Buff. And I'm gonna grapple to him. Then I'm gonna walk before attacking because I got kind of stuck under him. Again, we're gonna lead him in the right direction by backing off and not attacking too much. Okay, this attack. Do a sprinting deflect on that one. Okay. That was not good RNG, but at least it showed what to do against the helicopter swingy rope thing. You can deflect the first one, and then you can deflect the second one, and deflect the third one. Or you can deflect the first one, then do a sprint. And then deflect that, and then keep running up at him, and then you'll run under the third of the swings, and then you can hit him. We'll analyze that one on video as well. I'm quickly gonna go over how the spinning attack punish works. So the spinning attack is a phase 2 move only, pretty much, when you do this strategy. And he likes to do it when you're a little bit away. So in this situation, I know that I'm gonna deflect him, and at this point I want to hope that he does his attack where he goes forward and kind of stabs with the spear. However, he can go into this. So at this point, I see him doing it, so I'm walking forwards. And even I dash because I want to get close enough so that I can deflect the first one. After deflecting the first one, I start running forwards. When you're doing a running deflect, it has more deflect frames than usual. So what you should do is you should just deflect way in advance that you need to deflect. So boom, and then already here, way before it hits, I have done the deflect. And after that, you just walk at him and attack. You'll get boosted a little bit by the deflect. Here I'm playing it again. So just get in position for the first one, deflect the first one, then start running. And you could even deflect here. Oh, I have deflected here, but you could deflect even earlier than I do. I would recommend practicing the sprint deflect inputs because it's very important for this guy. Alright, I think that was it for that. Okay, I'm gonna try and talk about some things that I haven't talked about yet. So when we chase after him, we're gonna try and be kind of behind him, but not precisely. I haven't been leading him to the ideal place. You don't really want him to run this way, and that is fixable by angling your attacks to the start differently. I'm gonna try and focus on that next time. Okay, this was kind of wrong of me. We'll look at why in the video as well. Okay, but at least we have a phase 2 here. I don't recommend going for the 2 hits there. You can just do 1 hit. 2 hits is more gambling. Okay, here I'm not gonna hit him quite yet because that would have staggered him. And then I wouldn't have been able to get the big damage from the deflect. Alright. And as you can see, because I wasn't gonna do that hit, the hit extra that I did earlier was actually just a dumb idea because I didn't need to do that. I could have waited. I could have only done 1 hit at the very start there where I said don't do 2 hits, and then at the end I could have attacked an additional time instead of waiting. So that goes to show why you don't have to hit twice there, and hitting twice at that earlier instance has a chance of you getting murdered. Alright. Here is another case of a bad opener ruining pretty much the entire phase 1. So again, I went over how to fix the opener. And also I showed how to do it properly in the later attempts, so please copy that. Alright, so what happens in this is that I don't actually kill him and he runs away, and then I get a bad ending. Again, this attack that he does here won't do it if you're actually behind him, but it is correct to attack him twice after it, because he will always do this one after. And then after that, he has a few different things he can do, but this is one of them. Wait, deflect twice, then hit him. And then you pretty much always dash backwards to get yourself in a better position. And then you deflect. Now in this situation, I hit him and stagger him. But actually he's too high HP for that. So I should have done the phase 2 strategy of hitting him once. And then running out in front of him. Kind of over here to kind of try and turn him around to go over closer to where we want. But I'm not gonna like completely run this way, like opposite of him, and end up over here, because if you're not in front of him, then he's just gonna run away. So I should have ran like over here and then essentially turned the ending into kind of the phase 2 strategy, where you make him where you bait him into doing his kind of running stab attack, or not running, but like where he goes forward and then stabs, and then you deflect it, and then from there you would have enough damage to stagger him and end the fight. But all of this is a big mistake, staggering him here, because he's gonna get away. And yeah, if I hadn't panicked here, because I didn't think this was gonna stagger, I would have probably killed him. But you should probably not try and stagger him when he's at that high HP. This situation is also mostly avoidable if you count your hits. I quickly want to mention this double hit that I did that I mentioned that you shouldn't do. So after getting behind him and getting the kick, at this point you would usually do 1 hit. You do 1 hit, and at this point he's gonna do some attack. Now I chose to strafe over to the right because this is habit. This is just what I do. You don't have to do this. You can strafe directly on him with the hit. That's probably easier. This attack is going to be the most common reply, or it's at least the one that you probably want. You deflect that, and then after that you hit him once. The reason you only want to hit him once is because if he does the faster thing he can do, then you don't have time to do two. So I would recommend just do one. And in this case, he did this. When he does the jumping attack, you can't really hit him. And if you try and attack him while he's jumping, then you'll go under him and he'll miss you. So when he's doing this, I want you to move backwards in the way of the gate. So here I should have just moved. So I did the hit and I do move. But instead of doing the second hit, I should just start moving immediately because the second hit is risky. And again, he jumps again, you move over closer again. And after this attack, you can strafe around him and behind him with 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. And at this point he can kick or he can do a few other behind the back attacks. And yeah, you have plenty of damage with this RNG to finish him off. Alright, on this one I'm gonna fix my start. So pay attention to when I start attacking, right when I pass over this rock. And then we are gonna face out this way. This is much better. We're out in the open. Again, strafe to the middle of him, then dash backwards. I'm gonna dash to the side on the other one. Huh? Yeah, and then he's low enough where we can just hit him. And again, I'm strafing behind him. And there, he pushed me away when I deathblowed him, so I just dashed back at him to get quicker at the deathblow. That's sometimes something that can happen when you deathblow him. He'll push you away. And 2 times once the back. And then we're gonna try and lure him over to the gate again. On the fog wall. Here I have to run away from him to bait him into an attack. Yeah, this is not good. I'm gonna stay a little bit away from him to bait him out to do the grapple. That's a distance-based attack. If you follow him right in the ass, he won't actually ever use the grapple. So usually what you want to do is, like, if he's there, then you just walk like this and then boom, the grapple. So walk a little bit away from him and then go over to my grapple. That's usually the quickest way of getting the grapple. And I'll also add video timestamps that you can use to go to each of the things. Yes, that's kind of weird. Okay. Go a little bit to the side to better deflect that. And then again, straight to the middle of him. And here, I shouldn't have done that hit because he was at 9. I really don't want to deflect him here because... Okay, I should have died there, but I have God mode on. You really don't want to end him on a deflect because that means that his poise won't reset and he'll stagger earlier than usual. Alright, he's not giving us kicks. We lure him this way again. It's a good idea to count the stagger. I'm not doing it for the sake of being able to compensate. And note is that the best RNG that you can get as like in terms of getting an easy fight is when you start out the fight with the 2 hits behind and then you get something you can deflect and then he does the double jump. That is the ideal RNG that you can get for making the fight easy and very fast. I'm gonna count my staggers this time around. So the starting hits here do not contribute towards the stagger, but 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay. Sometimes he will AI freeze like that, and it's not ideal. At least if he does it early in the phase, because he'll run away after you stagger him out of it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm gonna run. And hopefully he does that. Okay. No headshot there. And again, I'm gonna wait for him to run a little bit away so I can get that. That was kind of unfortunate because I didn't count properly. Because I was preoccupied with other things. And also, that whole fight was bad because I accidentally lured him to the wrong place in the arena. He got down here, which is a bad place to be because of all the terrain stuff. Up here is much better because the terrain is more even. If you are having problems steering him in the right path at the start, then instead of doing 7 hits, like I do, then just do 6 hits. Right, this time I'll just do 6 hits so I can show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that was really bad. Oh, here you did the kayak, so you have to turn around and run away. Or run at him. Or you turn around and then run in a straight line. So if you were locked on, you have to lock off first before you start doing any of that. Because you can't turn around while locked on. Hit him, then dodge back. He should attack you here. Then get close to the gate. I meant to lock onto him there. He's very high HP here. So I have to deflect. I can't really hit him more here. This was very bad. If you go this way around, it is very unlikely that he's gonna kick you. And when he's running away on phase 2, it's also pretty much guaranteed that he will not stop to attack you like he will on phase 1. On phase 1, when you're chasing him down, he will almost always attack you, which will stop him from running further. But on phase 2, he will only do that rarely. And most of the time, he'll just keep running away. So in those cases, you'll be better off standing still and then getting the grapple. Okay, let me try and show a little better how to do the 6-hit variant. But again, you can also check videos. If you chased him properly, you would be able to do the 2nd hit there. And again, we turn around, chase after him and deflect. I don't hit him there because he was gonna stagger. Okay, actually it wasn't. I didn't count. This is why you count, so that you don't miss out on damage like that. Right, and again, walk before you start hitting so that you don't get stuck on him. I can hit him 2 times there because he wasn't gonna attack immediately. Again, we're gonna lure him to the gate. 2 extra straight behind, and then I can stagger him and kill him here. And I face directly into the side of him there, so I can get the backstab, or sorry, the death blow immediately as I finish him off. Want to show something that I didn't explain in the video, but whenever you have this attack where it goes on the hind legs, you need to kind of go to the side. I like to go either A or A and S, which is to say either to the left or back left. It kind of depends on the positioning. This is because, as you can see, he will also have turned. So if you were standing over here still, then he can dead angle you. And after this one, of course, famously, you have to do 3 here. And I like to end up in the middle of him so that I can dash backwards and know that I'm not accidentally going to be on the wrong side of him. I'm going to be in front of him, and then I'm going to be on his right. And I'm going to be on he's going to be like this. You can deflect. And then here he did this, so I turn my camera around at least, and then run after him in pursuit. I'm counting his attacks. So this is technically the 1, and then that's the 2, and then this is the 3. this one, and then here comes the fourth. It is kind of hard to count in real time. But the thing is, if you deflect his first or the third, then he will not stop. He will only stop when you deflect the second or the fourth on that one. Let me show again. So here, this is technically the first one, and I deflected that one because that's just a normal timing. And then he does the second one, comes there. You don't have time to deflect this, so you're gonna have to go for the third. Oh, sorry, fourth. Here comes the third, and then the fourth comes here, which you deflect, and then you try and get behind him with 1-2 hits, so you can get the kick. And then after kick, 1 hit, and then this one again. On this one, you kind of want to move into place so that you can better deflect it. Let me show that again. Boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 hits. Boom. Hit. Deflect. You can hit here. You can hit him once here. But in this case, I knew that he was going to stagger in 1 hit, so I didn't hit him. And actually, he wasn't going to stagger in 1 hit. This is what I was thinking at the time, though. If you count your hits, then you won't. Then you'll have saved like 1 second here compared to me. So I do recommend to count, and maybe even count aloud. That helps some people, myself included. And then here you can actually see this is something different. That is applicable to a lot of other things than Gyoubu. When I death blow him here, or when I posture break him, as you can see, oh, that's kind of weird. He's like, yeah. He's over here, and I'm facing this way. I want to turn, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click, which is my deflect or my block. And the block actually lets you turn. As you can see, my guy is actually turning, where normally in this case, I already have W pressed. You can see I was holding W the entire time, but my guy's like still looking this way. That's because you get locked out of movement during the latter part of your attack. But you can cancel the recovery of that by blocking. And so by blocking and then pressing attack to take the death blow, I can turn my guy when he's not supposed to be able to turn to get the death blow faster. That was an overcomplicated way of saying that at this point, you just look at him and you block and then you deflect. If you pay attention to other top runners, you will see people doing that on all sorts of bosses, especially on Ogre. At the world record level, you'll see the fight being done a little bit different because they rely on using headshots to finish him off after getting the death blow. Oh, sorry, after getting the stagger. But I'm not gonna teach that, or show that, because it is extremely risky and the strategy is very, very hard to execute. So if you value your time, you'll try and learn this strat or this variation of the strategy first, and then learn the headshots later on once you have a good time. Because otherwise you're gonna be sat practicing for literal months before you start out able to do a run. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rotate a little bit here because I want to get him over here. So on second phase, after you deflect the triple slam that he does, or like the slam and then pause and then big slam, whenever you deflect that attack, he will run away unless you make some distance to him and bait him into doing one of his medium range attacks. If you just hit him and then like get ready for a close range attack, he will 95% of the time just run away. So the best course of action is deflect 2, hit him, and then deflect the final. Then you can hit him one more time, and then you'll run away out in front of him. Don't run too much to the side. That can kind of mess with it. And don't run directly in front of him. I suggest running like a little bit away in the curve and then go in front of him again. So like, if that's Gyoubu, then you'll go like here. Maybe this is a little bit too far, but you'll want to steer him in the direction of this place. I'm getting very bad openers. Here he's doing this attack because I wasn't fully behind him. And again, it's because I'm messing up my opener. I'm just hitting him at this point. On this move he has hyper armor, so he won't count off for the stagger. Whenever he has hyper armor, it's not gonna increment his stagger. But here, because I ended him with a deflect, as I mentioned earlier, staggered early. In my opinion... So here we have this attack again. I'm gonna hit him once, and then I'm gonna run out in front of him. But yeah, sorry, to return to the deflect death blow thing. Whenever you deflect death blow him, in my opinion, it's best to just get the stagger out of the way immediately. Because you're gonna have to wait so long for the stagger to reset, because it's a 25-second reset timer in which in that time you'll need to not hit him at all for it to reset. You can deflect but not hit him, but that's generally not worth it. So it's better to just get the stagger over with and then try and catch him again as he runs away. Here I want to talk about a little thing with his stagger. So at this point, I don't have a lot of damage on him, so I'm just gonna try and get a little bit more here, and then I'm gonna try and stagger him. So at this point, he is very low on hits. He might be on 7 or 8 hits here, I can't remember, but at this point he's doing the spear throw. On this one, I recommend to dash at him and then go in and then hit him in the back 5 times. 4 or 5 times, depending on how much time you have. After you have done that, I would generally suggest that you stay behind him because he can do a kick after it, but in this case I thought I was gonna stagger him and then kill him. But it turns out that he just hyper armored through all of it, so during the hyper armor he both won't be staggered and he won't build up his stagger. So at this point, with this last hit, now he's at 8. And a special thing with the deflect posture break. So anytime you kill him by a deflect, his stagger count will not reset. So right now, he is still at 1. Even though that usually, when you kill him, he should reset back up to being 9 hits away from staggering. I did mention this in the video at some point, but when you have a strategy, or when you have a fight where the phase 2 starts with him having few hits away from stagger, I recommend to just stagger him immediately. Because that's just my opinion, that for me turns out to lead to the more consistent fights, because you can stagger him and then essentially reset the fight from there, instead of having to like do all of this different this different sort of fight. It's gonna be way easier for you to just hit him and then continue the fight as normal after catching up with him. I'll just show him staggering here after hit 1 so that you get what I mean. Boom. I think it goes without saying that this is kind of my opinion of how to fight him, and different people will think differently, which will result in, of course, doing different strategies. I encourage you to learn from others as well. Okay, here we have very bad RNG, so I have to do a phase 2 strategy. The world record holder there would have instead just staggered him right away and gone for the headshot. But with this strategy, we're essentially gonna say, nah, we're not gonna hit headshots. Feel free to try it out, but it can lead to a lot of unnecessary resets, because you can easily PB with a bad Gyoubu. Especially if you're a beginner. Again, here, when he's doing that... Oh, I missed. When he's doing that, his stagger is not incrementing. Go to the side to better deflect that. And again, strafe up on his side to better be able to take the death blow right as he becomes death blowable. It turns out that I don't really know how to do this 6-hit opener. Each opener has different strafing because it kind of matters which way you're facing. And I don't remember how to do the 6-hit one. I highly recommend to check a video for that. Or just using the 7-hit. 7-hit is harder, but it is a little bit better. Yeah, I'm doing the 7-hit again. There I was actually behind him, but he doesn't always kick. Getting a kick is RNG. But you don't need a kick. As you will see, this fight is also good. And so here I'm gonna strafe kind of around him. So I can get to the other side of him. And get him the right way. And here I'm gonna walk before hitting, because otherwise it would get stuck. Here you also have to hit him once and then run away, because he's not gonna do the follow-up. Oh my goodness. I already showed you how to do this strategy with the double kick. Double kick? What am I saying? The swing. When he does the swinging rope thing, you'll want to deflect the first and then sprinting deflect the second. Ideally. Or stand in place and deflect all three. Deflecting all three is easier. But if he's high HP, then it's probably not the best. But if he's low and you can finish him off with it, then feel free to do it. Then that's when it's a good idea to deflect it. Hit him twice, and I was behind him there, but again, RNG. Straight to the side of him. Then I'm gonna dash to the side slightly there, because I wasn't quite where I wanted to be. Here is low enough where I can finish him off. I'm kind of stuck on him, but otherwise I would have strafed around him with my hits. But yeah, kill him on the stagger. He likes to AI freeze a lot. Don't get caught too off guard by that, but it's kind of hard to predict when it will happen. Again, run in front of him. Hit him twice after that thrusting attack, then... The RNG was so bad there that you either have the choice between not hitting him and hope he starts doing something useful, or you can just hit him, stagger him, and then hope that he doesn't run away, which is what I did here. Which I think is a little better, but again, try both. Usually you won't be in a bad situation like that, but sometimes you do get placed in that. I want to talk about this one where I didn't have enough damage to kill him. So at this point I'm not at that many hits, but I still decide to hit him all I can here to stagger him. This was probably a poor decision, even though that I thought it was a good one at the time. Because, look, he's too high HP for me to kill him. So what I should have done was deflect, hit once, and then run in front of him. And bait out another attack to deflect. Now, what I did here instead was to stagger him. And here, I kind of did this, which is what the pros do, to hit a headshot. As you can see, I wasn't quite there. You have to hit up on his actual body to get that to connect. So this was way too low. I have to hit up here. But this is what the pros would have done in this situation, and they would have reset with this combination of things. Unless they got the headshot, of course, in which case they wouldn't, but the headshot is almost impossible here. I've lost track of how many fights I've done so far, but let's just keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And as you can see, the way you point matters a lot for which way he runs. Slightly to the side to deflect that better. Straight to the middle of him. Dash back twice. Straight behind him with the hits there. And then here we can kill him off. This was a good phase 1. Here I'm gonna turn slightly right with my running. To make him run the way I want. Get behind him with 2 hits. Deflect, hit once. Deflect, hit once. Then on this one, again we're gonna dash back and we're gonna hit him. And then we're gonna run kind of in front of him. This is a very poor angle. Gonna get some distance to him again. Okay. When he runs up against the wall, you can kind of just hit him. As you can see here. But he will start attacking you. But a lot of the time when he runs up against the wall, you are free to hit him. What I would recommend is hit him. But if he does his grapple, or he makes the grapple available to you, then you jump away, grapple to him, and then proceed as normal by getting behind him with 2 hits and then trying to deflect the kick. So far, we haven't really had any amazing fights, but I think that's good for the sake of the video. Again, another horrible opener. As you can see, you can get stuck on that, which is really what you don't want to. You really want to practice the opener a lot. I haven't played in a while, so that's why I'm messing it up. Here we go behind him, and then here I do believe we can just stagger him. Okay, we could not. But that's okay. Actually, it's not okay. This is a very good example of doing mistakes. Pretty much everything I did in this fight, you don't want to do. We'll look at this as well after, and I'll show you how to not. Here, if you get knocked over by his kick, then you want to absolutely mash the fuck out of your dash to get back up. Here, let him run away so you can grapple to him. If you don't immediately get up, then you won't be able to deflect the behind the back attack that he does after you get hit by the kick. But yeah, we'll look at this fight in detail as well. I think that was all the fights, so let's get to analyzing. Alright, this was one of the worst fights I had. So let's look at this one. This one, I have a really bad opener where I can't chase him properly. But then I do end up getting the fight started here. And so we go as normal, and then I hit him some more. And then at this point, at this point, if you look at his HP, you'll see that he's still rather high HP. And at this point, I go to stagger him. He's way too high HP right now. He's not gonna die. So what I tried to do was I tried to get a headshot. And I'll explain how the headshot works, but I'm not really gonna give you a guide on how to do it exactly because it's way too complicated to include in a guide like this. So what I did was let me rewind slightly. I got the stagger and then I try to make it to the middle of him, and then I'm actually here, I'm doing a block attack. So I'm doing a block and then a hit, which changes the animation to be more vertical. And this second attack here, as you will see, it has a very high likelihood of striking him in the head, or it has a very good trajectory for it, not necessarily a high probability. But it has the right trajectory, as you can see. It'll go up over him, but in this case, it just hit the top of the horse. If I had been on higher ground, that headshot could have connected. By the way, the headshots aren't actual real headshots. They're kind of just rider hits. They should count from anywhere from like his chest and up on the guy. The lower body of him counts as the horse, and then the horse also just counts as the horse, obviously. But yeah. Here, in this case, of course, I should have just not staggered him. So I should deflect, then hit him once. Or even hit him. No, I should have hit him once and then ran in front of him. That's what I should have done. As you would do in phase 2. Because if I was counting my hits, I would know that I would be at 8 now, and this would be the 9th. So instead I would do the 8th hit, and then I would run out in front of him. And with this positioning, I would probably try and run a little bit more, you know, down towards here where the toolbar is. So that I could maybe get him turned around. But yeah, this ends up being not a good fight because of this. Yeah. A lot of this towards the end was a mistake. So avoid stagger him too early, essentially. Try and count your hits. And if you do stagger him too early, then, you know, try your best to back it up.